Next, from the state capitol, we talk with House Speaker Michael Madigan about the two primary issues driving the state's deficit spending, pensions and Medicaid, and what his thoughts are on the proposed reforms. This runs about 7 minutes.
Happened today? What happened here on Thursday on Medicaid reform?
Well, in the House passed a bill which will reduce the services provided in the Medicaid program. It will reduce the provider reimbursement rate, and it will provide for a major reform of rate setting in the reimbursement program for Medicaid. In addition, the House passed a bill which is called the Cook County Waiver Bill. And this will provide that the Cook County Hospital and the Cook County Healthcare System will be able to enroll close to 100,000 new people in the Medicaid program and thereby avail themselves of federal funding. This will be significant relief to the real estate taxpayers of Cook County.
What's left to be done on Medicaid reform?
In Medicaid, we need to pass an increase in the cigarette tax to provide funding for the Medicaid program. We need to adopt a supplemental assessment program for the hospitals. We need to adopt legislation which is concerned with charity care. This is where hospitals provide care for poor people, and they hope to get credit for that in terms of the payment of their real estate taxes. Medicaid is a 5, 6, 7 element program, and we've done 2 items in the House. The Senate's done 1. There's a long way to go, but we're making pretty good progress.
Do you think that can all be done on Friday and Saturday? I understood Saturday is now a scheduled session. Do you think you need Friday and Saturday to get Medicaid done?
I think we'll need more than Friday. Some of this will be done next week.
Okay, and then on pension reform, where are you? How close are you to
We're making progress on pension reform. Senator Cullerton and I have engaged in multiple meetings with labor unions, with the university presidents, representatives from the community colleges, people from local school districts like the School Alliance, and we've made good progress. We're concerned with the fiscal stability of the pension systems, and we've determined that the biggest cost driver that leads to fiscal instability in the pension systems is the automatic compounded COLA adjustment. So our view is that should be adjusted, and we ought to convert it to what's called the Tier 2 COLA, which is not compounded. There are other elements to the program. We're not going to call upon employees to make additional contributions. We're not going to change the retirement age. We do feel that local school districts and community colleges and universities ought to assume the responsibility to make the pension payments for their employees. Today, the state of Illinois makes those payments, and it's not fair, it's not equitable. It's one of the leading causes of why these systems have fiscal instability. So we've made good progress, but there's a long way to go.
So how much, if you just restrict it to the COLA, you don't do the increase in the employee contributions that Governor Quinn was suggesting, you don't do the change in the retirement age that Governor Quinn was suggesting. He said if you did all 3 things, you would get $65 to $85 billion in savings. Now you're doing 1. How much do you get in savings?
I don't have the exact number. In all likelihood, it's somewhat less than what the governor cited, but it's a very significant number. And so if all of this were to fall into place, why there'd be very significant reform and changes to the pension systems. Remember, the goal here is fiscal stability of those systems. That's the goal. Today, there are a significant drain on the resources of the state of Illinois. We want to correct that. We want to restore fiscal stability. We want to stop that drain. A lot of that drain is caused by people, by employers who are passing on the cost of the state for people that never got a paycheck from the state of Illinois.
So you're going to stop the cost shifting, put it back on the villages or municipalities?
Not the villages, the municipalities.
The school districts, excuse me. You put it back on the school districts?
On a phased-in basis. We're not attempting to cause hardship for anybody. But this is a government that's got severe fiscal problems, and there's some tough medicines that's got to be adopted to correct them.
So if you do all that, can that all be done before the 31st of May?
Yeah, we can think it can be done before adjournment.
So that gets you a good start, but not all the way for what you need to do for stabilization?
Well, there's always more work to be done. If what I described to you were to happen, become part of the law of the state of Illinois, that would be a major accomplishment. There might be some members of the media that would feel that way, but that's the way they are.
All right, Terry, you have anything to add?
Actually, you answered one, sir. You're going to phase in the, if you did push the cost over to the teachers of the school district, you would phase that in. Sure. Have you talked about over what period of time, or is that still being negotiated?
That's under negotiation.
And what about, obviously the big thing is the legality. There's probably for sure going to be a suit against the
Sure.
question on the pensions being legal. What is your thoughts as far as how to approach this so that it isn't, that it would be successfully upheld in a legal challenge?
It gets pretty convoluted, but it's rested upon contract law, offer, acceptance, consideration, and what it will provide is that for employees who wish their pay raises to be pensionable, they have to take a lower tier COLA, less rich COLA. In exchange, they'll get a guarantee of access to whatever state health care plan is being offered to retirees. It's based in contract law.
So you think that that will pass and make it constitutional, that
I'm not going to
provision?
speak for the Supreme Court. You know, we've talked about this for a long time. We're very comfortable with this theory that's based in contract law. That'll be part of the bill, and that's how it will be moved to the court.
And when do you think that will all be done, the pension reform?
Well, we hope before the end of the session, before the adjournment.
All right, thank you so much, Speaker.
Why don't I hold you up? Mr. Speaker, you've been here 30-something years. In fact, you were a delegate at the Constitutional Convention of 1970. And this seems like, it's amazing. This seems like, we just talked to Julie Hamo. She said this is historic. It does seem like a historic session to take on both pension and Medicaid. Of those two issues, and I know you did death penalty last year was a huge issue, where did these stand in your long career, just as far as the significance of taking on these two reforms?
Well, I think you begin with the condition of the state of Illinois, the fiscal condition of the state, which is in deep trouble, the ethical considerations of the state in light of the removal of a sitting governor. So the state's had a whole host of problems. And especially given the fiscal condition of the state, the fiscal condition of the national economy, there's a lot of heavy lifting to be done. And what I've told my members is that this work is not for the faint of heart, not this time. And so if you look at this historically, these are terribly significant times.
Just one
People
thing.
that are serving now historically will be very thankful that they served.
Speaker, as you just mentioned, 42 years. Do you think you have another decade in you?
That's just the beginning.
Mr. Speaker, thanks so much, sir. Appreciate it.